Am I audible? Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, good morning, Priyanka ma'am.
Yeah, we are here, Rahul and Arad.
Just a second, Arad. I can't hear you. 1 minute. Yeah, Arad, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you, Arad.
Is it audible now?
Yes,
Is it audible now, ma'am? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Very good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the session on today's session. Welcome to today's session on the webinar on strategic plan for business development in association with IIC, conducted by Mathrusmi Engineering College, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So today we have two resource persons, Mr. E. Rahul Reddy and Mr. Arad Vemula. So Rahul Reddy is a co-founder of Epic Bikes and he did his graduation from NIT Warangal. And also, Mr. Arad, we have one more resource person, Mr. Arad Vemula. So he is also the co-founder of Epic Bikes, Central Automotive Private Limited. So he did his bachelor's from NIT Warangal. So I invite Mr. Rahul and Arad to continue the session.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka ma'am, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. It is very glad to have the opportunity to explain or to give a brief lecture about strategic plan for business development. Ma'am, I just wanted to know if the audience that are there today are the same ones that are present yesterday.
No, sir. These people are somewhat different. So yesterday we have third years. Now today we have second years.
So today we have second years.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, in fact, today's presentation is somewhere linked with the yesterday's presentation as well.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe I can also brief them about the yesterday's presentation a bit, and then
Yeah, sure.
to the strategy part.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, just give me a minute to share the presentation. Yeah, can you check my screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Yeah, great. Yeah, hi guys. So today, before me taking you to the presentation or explain about the strategic plan for business development, maybe I'll take some 5 to 10 minutes of time to explain you what a business model is or what business development is basically is. So after I explain you about all the elements that are present in any business or any business development, I will take you through the strategy on how one can plan or else make a plan strategy. Uh, Ma'am, there is echo coming from your mic. Priyanka, ma'am, can you actually mute your audio?
Yeah, so, sorry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting noise from the audio. Can you please
Just a
mute?
second, 1 second, I'll check it.
Yes.
Yeah, now,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I think it is clear right now. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, is it clear now?
Yes. 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 It is good
Right.
enough. Now I'll
Okay.
continue.
Right.
So in the business model development, just before that, I'll tell you the terms of business and entrepreneurship. Business is something. I mean, it can be trading, it can be just exchange of goods, or there is a good available with you and you are actually reselling it. It can be, let us say, any kiranas or any sort of business. I mean, any sort of exchange of money for some addition of value. You can term it as a business. When coming to entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is something where you are actually changing or modifying something that is already existing or accepted to be normal in the business world. You are doing something beyond that and trying to change the landscape of that industry. So that is what is generally called entrepreneurship. It's a business, but definitely there is a lot of differentiation that is there from the existing way than how it is being done. So, anyways, if we get into the business model, so we discussed this in detail yesterday, but I will take you through this. In any business, so there are few elements which we have to take care about. So, first thing is what we generally call as the customer segments, the right side one, and what kind of value you are providing to that particular customer is the another major component, the value proposition and the customer segments. So basically when you are choosing a customer segment, so let us say you wanted to solve a particular problem to elders, let us say. So elders are facing trouble in going from one place to other place. I mean, they are facing trouble in, let us say, even booking a cab and going from one place to other place. Then let us say you're coming up with a value proposition that, let us say, they are given just a button where they press a button and then they will be able to get a phone call and assisted to provide a cab without any hassle. Let's say you are creating such kind of value. So then you know the customer segment, you know the problem, and you know the value that you are creating to that particular customer. So to the join between the value that you are creating and to the customer, there has to be a channel through which you're going to give that particular value. And during communication during those channels, you actually what we call it as customer relationships. So the way you talk, the way you provide service, or the way you make them feel about your the value that you are providing to them is what is generally called customer relationships. So let's say, I mean, maybe you are even creating a product for someone. Let us say we are in. Uh, I mean, let us take the example of our company itself. We are developing electric bicycles. Epic Bikes develops, designs, develops, and manufactures electric bicycles. So the value that we are creating to a particular customer segment, let us say the engineering students themselves. So there could be maybe some 10 or 20% of the students who wants to travel to their college every day and daily chores or whatever, and wanted to purchase an electric bicycle. I mean, wanted to purchase some transportation vehicle. Right. So if we are creating that kind of value, an electric bicycle, so what is the channel through which we are going to provide those electric bicycles to these engineering students, let us say? Okay. So it can be like we may provide it, you can purchase it via online, maybe you can go to a offline store, or it can be in any other channel through which you can purchase the electric bicycle that we are building. Okay, so and the customer relationship is something like when you are going through our website or when you are coming to our store. So how are we actually treating? So how are we creating awareness? How are we educating about the product or the problem that you are facing and how it can be solved? So this is something, the channels through which you are coming, and within the channel, how are we maybe treating or how are we having the interaction with the customer? So this is how we will be able to provide the value that we have created. So let us say we have these electric bicycles and you wanted to use these electric bicycles, but you do not want to purchase it. Let us say you wanted to rent it for a day, for a month, or for some particular time. So there is a different way that you wanted to repay the company for the value that you are taking from that particular company. So it could be a rental, it could be purchase, it could be a subscription, it could be anything. So these are the different kinds of revenue streams through which we create the value. The customer is going to get the value that the company or the business is creating, and revenue is generated by a exchange of the value and the money.
So yeah, I'll put it in more simple terms. Like this is one part of the business model where it is between the company and the customer. The interactions of everything will be between the company and the customer. So coming to Epic Bikes, what is that particular problem we are going to solve? Let's say an engineering student who is staying around 5 kilometers from his house. He wants to go to college every day. Okay, he has two options, 2 to 3 options. He may go it in auto, he may go it in college bus, he can purchase an motorbike for himself, he can go on a bicycle. So out of all these options, okay, there are pros and cons in these options. Okay, so there is some dependency, there is some cost that may come in. So with an electric bicycle, what happens is the cost of traveling is drastically reduced. It helps in making people fit. With cycles, you go with respect to the college. That's not ideal. So this is the kind of problem that we are solving from our company, making people fit, making people sustainable, and having a good transport facility with less money, and it actually kills the dependency on any other mode of transportation. Okay, so this is the value that we are giving to the customer segments. So whatever value that we are giving is given through a channel. So this channel might be, let's say we are putting a rental system in your college where you can take bikes from your college to your house, or let's say we are putting up a store at your college where you can buy vehicles from this store. Okay, so this is called channel. And whenever there is some support required, okay, then we will be helping you in terms of service. So that is called customer relationship. And depending upon whether you are purchasing, whether you are renting, or any other model, or subscription fees, that comes under revenue streams. How a customer is willing to pay to the company is called revenue streams. Okay, then we will go to the next part of the uh, model, where it is the back end of the system. Okay, so yeah, Arad will take over, right?
Yeah. So let's say we are actually building electric bicycles and we found the customer, we understood the problems, we have designed it in such a way. So everything is done and we are able to sell it and things are happening. So on the back end of, I mean, on behind the face of the company, so what are all the things that are happening? Okay, so it is generally termed with the three things, what we call it as key resources, key activities, and key partners. So let's say if you want to build that electric bicycle, so what are all the resources that you would be needing is something what we call it as key resources. Let us say to build the bicycle, you need all the components, maybe handle, seat, tires, frame. Those components are all called resources. And let us say if you want to design that, you need human resource, you need talent, you need engineers. So we'll be having engineers who will be designing the hardware product, who will be designing the software of it, the motor, electrical stuff, computer science things and all. So you need human resources for, building the or developing the electric bicycle. What are with these resources? What are all the activities that you are going to do? So there will be n number of activities that are happening, not just from the product side, but also let us say you are doing the sales or the front end of it. Let's say you have to do R&D, you have to do a lot of market research, market understanding, how the products are being perceived in the market. You'll do a lot of marketing activities to showcase. Then you'll do production activities, assembly of the electric bicycles and stuff. So these are multiple key activities. And what are all the resources, and using the resources, what are all the activities that you are going to do to create the value. So this is the back end stuff that is going to happen. And key partners, let us say if you are building any company, any product or any service, so we need not, or any business need not build everything from scratch. You may be having an advantage in particular vertical. Let us say most of you guys are computer science engineers. You are very good at let us say the coding or algorithms, math of it and everything. You might have to build a product, physical product for something. You may collaborate or partner with a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer or any other engineer who has basically the skill set of the, complementary skill set. So you need not again learn all the other subjects as well. So this is where you need key partners. Let's say we are building electric bicycles. We don't need to invent the, let's say, the handles, seat, tires and all. We just partner with the existing vendors, and then we share the designs with them, develop as per our requirements and get it. So these are the key partners. Let's say you even as a computer science engineer, you might be developing some mobile application or software or some service, software as a service. So you will be partnering with, let us say, the cloud services companies like maybe Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud and all. So these are all the partnerships that you are going to make, so that you need not worry about few of the things which you are not really good at. So you just need to have a complementary partners. These are called key partners. Key partners are partnerships. So on the right side, when we are understanding about the value that we are giving to our customers, there is a revenue stream that is coming in. So there is a money that is coming in. But to produce that particular product or service, you need all these activities, resources, partners. These are all the costs. So you need to list down all the costs that will be incurred in developing the product and even delivering the product from start to, start of the idea or concept stage to the delivery, and by the end of the product life cycle altogether. So what are all the costs involved falls under cost structure. Whenever your revenue streams are greater than the cost structure, that means the company is simply in a profit cycle. Maybe in the initial days your cost structure might be high because you may have a lot of overheads or anything, and maybe your number of customers are less. But with the same resources, you may be able to get multiple number of customers in the later point, and the revenue streams are going to increase. And in general, there will be multiple revenue streams for a single company. It won't be just a sale of one product or this thing. It could be sales, it could be subscription, it could be rentals, it could be freemium, like few of the websites where for to an extent you can use it for free. Beyond that, you have to purchase maybe some features or any options within within that particular product. So this is what basically the major elements in any business or a business model development.
Yeah. So we have learned about the hardware product and the company that we are building right now. So I would like to decode a software product for you in the next 2 minutes very quickly. So let's take an example of Oyo. Okay. Who are the customers? Every person who travels to a different place wants to stay in a hotel or a lodging. So after going there, if he is trying to find something, then there is a lot of time that is going to consume. So the problem is easy way to find the hotel. So the customer who is traveling to a different place is the target segment, and the problem is the easy way to find a hotel and cost effective hotel. So where the OYO comes in, okay, they offer all the available hotel rooms in that particular destination, okay, to a customer via a mobile app. Okay, so the value proposition is offering that particular rooms and the cost, the less cost of hotel rooms, and the channel is via website or the mobile application. Okay, and whether if you get any if you want any customer support, like where is the hotel, or the room is not clean, etc., etc., so all this comes under customer relationships. Okay, how are you going to pay him? Via your debit card, okay, or like 2 days plan, 3 days plan, whatever it is a monthly plan. So all this comes under revenue stream, how the customer is going to pay to the company. Okay, coming to the back end of it, what are all required to build this? Okay, key resources. Yes, there needs to be a software team, and there needs to be an exploration team where this exploration team needs to find where the hotels are, how many rooms are empty, and the software team needs to update everything on the website and the mobile application and the backend server. Okay, so this particular team is there, right? This team is the key resource for the OYO company. Okay, and then they need money to give salaries, so that is also comes under some resources only. Okay, and what are all the key activities they do? They do building of mobile application and website, expanding into the market and marketing. So these are all the key activities these people do. Okay, what are all the partnerships? Yes, they don't build hotels to give rooms, right? They partner with already existing hotels. So already existing hotels are the key partners for this particular company, and all the costs that goes into the partnerships or activities or key resources is called cost structure. Okay, so this is all the cost that they are spending to create this value, and the revenue that they are getting is coming under revenue streams. So this is how OYO is decoded.
Yeah. So you may actually decode any kind of company or any business. Maybe even you can think of a local supermarket, and you can list down what all things are happening, so that you will be able to understand how business runs. And even if you wanted to start a business of your own, or even if you want to start a startup, you will be able to understand what all things that are involved or that needs to be in place. Okay, this is what is basically about business model. Maybe I can share this presentation with Priyanka ma'am, and then everyone can go through that on the later day. Right, now I will share a quick about the strategy. I mean, strategy is particularly, it seems to be a very simple concept, but it needs a lot of thought process and understanding that has to be implemented. It is a very what do you call, a simple procedure where one has to think in a different direction. So generally, I will take through the definitions of what do you mean by a plan, what do you mean by a strategy. Okay, so we generally use the word strategy many a times without really understanding what the word strategy means. Okay, plan is something. Let us say you wanted to go to point A to point B, right? So that is a simple plan. Okay, I'll be going from point A to point B in this particular route, and maybe in between you wanted to purchase something and take it to that destination B. So that means you already have a plan. Okay, I'll start from B. I'll be going to that particular store. I'll purchase some goods and I'll go to destination B. So that's the end of the plan. Let us say you have some obstacles in between the road. Okay, you are going to take a different route. Maybe you take some different path and reach the destination. There will be n number of paths to reach that particular destination from A to B. Okay, so let us say in one direction it is tough for a motorbike. It is in another direction it is tough for a car. Let's say if you are driving in a car, you take the path which is easiest for the car. If you are going on a motorbike, you take the path which is easiest for the motorbike. Let us say if those kind of obstacles are more in number, like you have to handle a number of things and reach the destination, and that is when, if you have reached a particular destination faster than expected, the people who are waiting at that particular destination, they tell ki, what do they tell? I mean, they tell ki you have taken a strategic path to reach that particular destination. So it is basically we have used our thought process, our mind in such a way. So what is the easiest path for the vehicle that we are going on, whether it is a bike, bicycle, e-bike, or a car. Okay, so it is generally what is called is if we are applying our strength against the weakness, or if we are applying our strength against the most promising opportunity. That means the route which is the path of least resistance for the vehicle which we are traveling. So this is something called as strategy. That means you have a basic plan with you, but when you are finding an obstacle, you are just finding an alternative path in the same plan and making sure you are either, overtaking the hurdle or taking a different path so that you are not under loss. So that is what in general is called a strategy. In terms of business, what a general philosophy that one has to follow in the development of a strategy, for be it for a business or anything, is these three elements basically. So first thing is called the diagnosis, where it is the place where, I mean, once you have a plan in place, you actually diagnose the whole steps through which you have to go through from destination A to destination B. Okay, if you have a different target, let us say you have a target to make 100 crores of business in this year, let us say. Okay, so if we have to do that, what are all the things that we have to do to, let's say, to make a 100 crore business? So that means, let us say you have to sell 1 lakh bikes in this year. So if you have to sell 1 lakh bikes, so what needs to be there? You need to generate 1 lakh sales. You need to produce 1 lakh bikes. Maybe you need to procure the components. So do you have? So you will be listing down all the items. I mean, all the let's say the required resources or activities or partnerships that we have discussed in the previous business model. So you will be, once you decide on a target, so you will be listing down all the requirements that will be needed. Right. Diagnosis is something, let us say, even if a doctor is there, so they'll first ask you to diagnose. Let's say you'll just go with a hand pain. So what the first step what a doctor would be doing is basically he will take an X-ray or a scanning, ECG or whatever. That is basically diagnosis. So we know that there is a problem with the let's say the arm, and he will not directly give you a medicine or anything. First, he has to diagnose. He has to see why the hand is swollen. Whether there is a is there a crack in the bone, or is there sprain, or is there a tear in the muscle? So he has to understand what it is. But anyways, the destination is he has to give a medicine and solve the particular problem. In the similar way, even for a business, once you decide on a destination, you have to see multiple paths, or you have to lay a path to achieve that destination, and then you will make a diagnosis report on the path. So is it achievable by my team? Do I have the expertise, or do I have to partner with something? Do I have to increase the resources? Maybe should I have to do this activity 2 times, 3 times? So you will come up with a complete diagnosis plan. Okay, so this is something that you're going to do. And on the next is a guiding policy. So once you have the diagnosis, everything in place, so generally the next thing is a guiding policy. To reach a point from destination from point A to point B, so let us say we have come up with 4 to 5 different paths. You want to go from point A to point B in 4 different paths. But anybody can reach the destination in any path. At the end, you may end up reaching the same place. But there has to be a guiding policy. Guiding policy in the sense it depends upon that particular individual or that particular company's way. Let us say if you are trying to solve a problem, you might be solving in a different way. Your father or mother might be solving in a different way, or your teacher could be solving it in a different way. But at the end, uh, I mean, the destination is the same. So you have to understand what is the best way for you. So the path in which you have the basically the advantage for you. So if let's say you want good marks in the examination, okay, let's say there were 4 to 5 elements that needs to be there. Okay, I have to get the answer. Maybe my handwriting has to be neat. Maybe I have to write a long answer. Maybe I have to write with red pen, blue pen, or I mean there could be a number of parameters to answer the question, and maybe we wanted to pass the examination or get the highest marks. So one individual can take a path in such a way कि he writes the shortest answer but very crisp and he gets the same marks. And there could be another person who can write it in detail, maybe explaining a number of things, and he or she also may pass the examination. So it depends upon that particular individual. And if you are following a particular policy, so you will have an advantage in the long term if you are having multiple aspects continuing to that. So this is a policy. You decide on a policy that yes, I have to follow these guidelines or this philosophy, and I'll go ahead in my life or I'll go ahead in my business. And then what is called as coherent actions. After you decide on a policy, you diagnosed it. Now you have a policy on how to take that path, and in that path, what are all the actions that you need to make. So this makes the business development or whatever the plan strategic. So that means you have understood what are obstacles are coming up in your life or in your business, and you have an answer to overcome those obstacles through a policy that you have put in place. So whenever such kind of problems come in, you already have a path how this company follows. Yeah, that's how it is. So now I'll explain about the diagnosis, maybe in detail. So I mean, as I mentioned, it is basically understanding the complete in and out of the plan. So you first need to have a plan that intuitively comes to your brain. Then you have to list down all the obstacles, challenges that are there in the plan, and then you have that particular list, and the diagnosis part is done. So example, let us say you wanted to have a more market share in the market. You have a large competition in the market. This could be an outcome of the diagnosis. So why am I unable to do? So what is the problem? So we have a competition. Let's say there is a problem of brand loyalty. People are liking the product, people are liking everything, but they are not actually loyal to the brand what we are having. Let's say maybe you are using some Chinese mobile phone or whatever. You may purchase it, you may use it. It may be that you are not loyal to that particular brand. That your next purchase of the mobile phone will be of the same brand, right? And maybe another thing is product supremacy. So that company is building products, but its product is not being addressed as one of the best products. So these could be the outcomes of diagnosing uh, for why we are not able to achieve the target we will be that we are targeting. So this is how the diagnosis is going to happen. And guiding policy, I mean, as mentioned, it is like the philosophy or overall approach for overcoming those stated obstacles. So if you have this guiding policy in your, let us say, the business plan, okay, I am going to follow these rules irrespective of what is going to happen. Whatever the problems come in, I am going to follow this method. Okay, so the guiding policy could be in a product development methods. Let us say product development can happen in such a way ki, okay, I am going to have my own research and development team, my own design team, development team, and produce a product. Or I may directly partner with, let us say, technology consultants or product development consultants and get the same product. Both can be right for two different businesses. So you have to understand so which policy or which method are we following to, let us say, develop a particular product. Let us say I have also mentioned about a problem called brand loyalty. Let us say you have identified that the brand loyalty is low. You wanted to increase the brand loyalty of a particular company. Okay, you can increase the brand loyalty of a particular company by multiple ways. Let us say you can give the best of the products. Maybe you can give best customer service, or maybe you can do a lot of advertising, or maybe you can start an NGO in the name of that particular company to build the brand loyalty or brand. So let us say we have we can choose any of those paths. Let us say we are choosing a path where we are going to do the best customer service to build the brand loyalty. Taking example from the diagnosis, let's say we wanted to build brand loyalty. We are choosing a path or the guiding policy that yes, we are going to give the best customer service to increase the brand loyalty. So this is the guiding policy. So whenever you are taking the future actions, you follow this policy that okay, whatever task we are doing, so we have to make sure that the customer service is at the priority, which leads to more brand loyalty. There could also be in such a way that okay, in the diagnosis we understood that the costs are increasing, okay, or else we are not exploring a number of things. Okay, we have to reduce the cost is is the answer, but we can reduce the cost by, let us say, cutting down the human resource or cutting down the other expenses, or you can do a number of things to reduce the cost. But what is that policy that you are going to follow to reduce the cost? Maybe you can pick up one or two policies. Let's say I'm just telling here that we are going to follow a lean structure. That means we are not going to have a huge human resources, or we are not going to have huge capital investment that will be done in the production of electric bicycles. So we may choose a different policy based upon our the maybe it is intuition, or maybe it is the advantage that we already have. So we'll be following a process what we call it as lean and agile structure. So these could be few policies which we will be following to make sure that we are not going here and there just if a problem arises. We know how to diagnose it, we know a policy how we are going to solve it. So once these are in place, that is where we are going to take actions. The reason it is called as coherent actions is, let us say there are 10 people in the team and 10 people are doing good in different ways. If all these 10 people are not coordinated as per a single, let us say, single vision or a single direction, everybody are good at each way, but if you are making them together, it is not actually helping the whole company. So that is when you need coherent actions. That means something that you have built and other person have built can be combined together. Let's say there is a software, this thing, one person develops in Java and other one develops in, let's say, Python. Okay, half code is developed in Python and half code is developed in Java. You cannot, let us say, combine both of these with ease. Maybe you have to do something else to combine it. Let us say, before that you already have a guiding policy that we have to code only in this particular language, and everybody follows that. So your actions are coherent when you are developing something or taking an action in that particular company. So this has to be in place whenever there are more number of elements increasing in the business. Maybe if it is a small business, it is one person, two-person, maybe it can be easily done by just communicating. But if the company is growing and the number is increasing, you need to have the actions uh, aligned, and it has to be in sync with each other. So that is what is called as coherent. Let's say the examples could be partnerships, initiating customer feedback programs and all. Yeah, so these are the actions that we are going to do. Let's say so we understood that the problem is we are not having a extremely good product. Okay, our guiding policy is basically to outsource the product development. Okay, so we'll run the company, but the product development we are going to outsource it to a consultant. Then the end action would be we have to do partnership with the technology development company. So this is the kind of action that we are going to do. So when we are doing that thing, so what are all the other actions that we are going to do in other departments? So maybe I'll also give you an example of, understanding of what are all the departments or that will be there. Okay, so maybe if I start with a company, so let's say a software company, software come hardware company, there will be a technology team, there will be a product team, there will be let's say the product development, then let's say the production team, testing team, let's say then the logistics, supply chain, procurement, sales, marketing, and then market research. So there is a whole loop that would be there starting from market research. That means identifying the problem, You develop technology, you develop products, you produce it, you test it, you deliver it to your customers through your logistics, or if it is software, it is through, let's say, the Play Store or App Store or any your website. And then again you take the customer feedback, you understand the product, you refine it, and again do a market research, and again inject that inputs into your technology requirements. That is how the whole loop of a company is closed, and all these actions have to be coherent. Then only then you will be able to find synergy, and the whole company can be called that the moves that they are doing are very strategic. That means one is helping the other. We generally, even in our general terms, we call a person or any of our friend, he did a very strategic move. That means the actions that he has taken previously, let us say he's in his second year, third year, or final year, so he is doing something in second year, then something more in third year and fourth year, and let us say after the end of his final year, he's getting a job in a particular company. Okay, so after he has achieved that, let us say the dream job or something, we call him that, him or her, that bro, he has actually done a strategic move from his second year and third year. That means all the actions that that person is taking are actually helping him to achieve something at the end of his final year. Let's say he is doing something in second year, and there is nothing that is coherent in the third year, and he is doing something else in final year. So all of these, if those three don't add up, that means it wouldn't be a strategic move that that person is doing. So it is the same way it happens for any of the plans or any of the business organizations or business developments.
I'll tell you a small example of, let's say, choosing the course in the in the college as an elective. Let's say if someone is starting up a company, let's say a computer science student is starting up a company, he must have knowledge of human resources management, and he must have the knowledge of accounting to some extent, and he must have the knowledge of project management to some extent. So there are different electives that can be offered to the students. So if that particular student in his second year have a plan to start a company after the final year, selecting these elective instead of other easy electives or the scoring electives would be a strategic move of that student to achieve and build a startup. So this is one small example that I can give.
Yeah. So this is how, I mean we in our day to day lives we generally call strategic when unknowingly something, the action that we have done previously helps the actions that we are doing today. So that means your actions has to be following a particular policy, and then the actions are coherent. That means these are always in sync. That the next action is being helped by the previous action. So that is how this goes on. So, if I mean we are open to the questions, even if you wanted to understand about the business model, the presentation that we have given before the strategy part. So we are happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul and Arad, for the wonderful session. So, if anyone is having any queries regarding the startups or business strategies, you can ask, or else you can send in the chat box. You can place the message in the chat box.
Yeah, you can simply text in the chat box. I can check that, and I'll answer your queries.
I would also like to share some information that one of your alumni is actually working with us right now in design of electric bicycle.
Yeah. So he is 2016 passed out from
Matsusri Engineering College.
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So he has done internship with us for almost an year, and
Okay.
then we liked his work, and then we have recruited him for the last 4 years. He has been working with us since 2017, 18.
Yeah, as a design engineer.
He's a design engineer right now.
Okay. So we didn't know that. That is a great thing.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have any doubts regarding this, if anyone can ask a question. So or else we will wind up the session. Right. So thank you, Arad and Rahul, for the wonderful session. We are expecting more sessions from your side. Thank you so much.
Definitely, ma'am. I mean, we are happy to share our knowledge with the upcoming engineers.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.